Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new to this channel, my name is Tashiba Brannon and I'm with the Brannon 7 Homeschool Edition. It's called the Brannon 7 Homeschool Edition because there are 7 of us in my family. I have 5 children, and of course myself and my husband. And my husband had a family blog a couple of years ago, and the name was the Brannon 7, so I just kept the name up and started doing a homeschool channel when we started to homeschool our children this year. So anyway, what I'm here to do today is do an end of the year review on Abeka 2nd grade curriculum. If you've watched a previous video, I think I've done a mid-year review or semi-mid-year for my 4th grader, and this will be the 2nd grade curriculum for my middle children that are 7-year-olds. And if you hear the noise in the background, those are the middle children doing what the middle children do, making a lot of noise, even though I specifically asked them not to make noise while I'm trying to record a video. But you know, they're boys. Anyway, so I just wanted to start out saying that Abeka was a really awesome curriculum for my 2nd graders. Because it didn't work out perfectly for my 4th grader, I had a few apprehensions in the very beginning, but now that we're past, we only have a couple of months left, let's just say that, and I'm very impressed with the curriculum that Abeka Academy offers. I've said before in other videos, we have the Abeka Academy, so we have DVDs that we use for 2nd grade. It also comes with a video, I'm not sure if you can see this, but a video manual. Another thing that you'll learn about Abeka Academy is that there are some new additions, and so 2nd grade is not a new edition. 2nd grade is actually an older edition that was recorded some years ago. However, it still is effective. But the only reason I know this is because we have 1st grade and 4th grade, and both of those are the newer editions of the Abeka Academy. So sometimes, I remember in the beginning I saw very few reviews of Abeka Academy, but one of the complaints that I heard is that the videos looked outdated. I think I heard that with Bob Jones as well. I haven't used them. However, I really like their 2nd grade teacher. You know, I don't feel like I know her, but my kids are familiar with the people that are in their class for some odd reason. And like I said, the information doesn't grow old. The curriculum is not outdated, even though the videos are older. I don't prefer one over the other, to be quite honest. So this is the video manual you get. Not to overwhelm you, but I'm going to just show you all the books that my children use, and I won't go into showing you the teacher's copies or the teacher's kind of manuals, just because, just know that for every book I show you for the kids, there are 2 books. There are the teacher keys that are attached with those, and there's also the guides, and their test keys as well. So there's like 2 to 3 other books that come with every book that I'm going to show you. As I was saying, if you open the box of Abeka materials, you could be very overwhelmed. I mean, easily overwhelmed. There were about 2 boxes that encompass just the 2nd grade materials, and there were about 2 or 3 boxes with my 4th graders materials and 2 or 3 boxes with my 1st graders materials. So I don't want the size. It's kind of like when I watch the Sunlight box openings, I'm always like, you know, giddy, but then I'm also nervous at the same time. Those are my 7-year-old middle children who are in timeout from getting in trouble. Anyway, so it's a little overwhelming to get a box of books and then trying to put them in order. So I will say, if you are going to order Abeka based on, you know, this or whatever other reviews that you've seen or read about, don't be overwhelmed. Remember that I said don't be overwhelmed, because it does all come together. You just really need to spend, I only spent a couple of days, and I wish that I would have spent a couple of weeks, maybe up to a month, familiarizing myself with the order. So I'll give you an idea. This is what the 2nd grade manual looks like. And here, I'll give you an idea of what a lesson 1 looks like. All right, right to it. So these are daily guides. They're not lesson plans. So don't be confused, because some materials that you order come with lesson plans, and these are not lesson plans. These are lesson guides. So it just tells you in each subject what you're supposed to do with phonics, and this is just on lesson 1, and then it's continued on the on the back side with the rest of lesson 1 and then the lesson 2. So unlike some curriculum that come with a lesson plans. This is a daily guide. These are not lesson plans by any means. This is basically telling you what you should be doing, what video you should be watching, and what book you should be using. So just know that if you want a teacher's guide, that has to be ordered separately, because for Abeka Academy, the teacher's guide is actually the teacher. You don't get a separate book. So I'll show you the materials like I said before. You will get, and this may not be the right one, but this is the same. This is the primary Bible reader. This could be my first graders, but both curriculum come with one. Then you'll get a handbook for reading, guide to go for your language arts. Here is the language arts 2, which is the language portion. And then there is the letters and sounds, and this is their phonics program. This is a really good phonics program, by the way. And there's also arithmetic, 2nd grade arithmetic. And there is, I think it's upside down, sorry. Yeah. This is writing with phonics, and this is their cursive writing with phonics. And there's one more book of, oh thanks, there's a spelling book that also comes, spelling and poetry. And so those are the materials. So like I said, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh look, there's more. I know, honey. And then there's this one, there's Our America, and there is also a 2nd grade science book that I think I shelved the other day. Oh, here it is. It's behind me. And then there is the 2nd grade science. Okay, so just to give you, so I'll just start off with these because we use these to lead. These two do come with videos, but in the Abeka videos, there are there's not a lot of time spent on these two in particular. And so I'll give you an idea of what they look like. I'm not sure this is helpful or not, but the pages are basically, the class will read the first section and my children will follow along. So I'll give you, and we don't do this with the class. So for instance, if this was chapter 1, myself and others, enjoying myself and others, the children will basically read this portion here. The children in the class actually. And then in the 2nd grade curriculum, then they'll read maybe all the way to here. So then on this page, they will go through the questions. And so if you see the questions that are over there, there isn't really any assigned work. They'll just answer the questions that are there. And they answer them out loud in class, and she gives the student at home an opportunity to answer the question as well. In Our America, it's very similar. It's a very light curriculum in the history and geography. We don't watch the videos for these two just because my boys don't really get an opportunity to read themselves because the class is reading. So because the class is reading, I allow them to read this to each other or to me, and then we answer the questions together. And it also, each video is not very long, I guess maybe anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes, which is very short, and it takes us just about that long to do it together, and so they have some interaction with each other. We also don't watch spelling very often because my boys don't like watching. On the videos, it's fun because they play games back and forth with a beach ball. They also do a lot of games like Frogger and Ball, and they do all kinds of things with the spelling. We don't do that. And I'm actually going to change the spelling curriculum for next year because this one was a little simple, too easy for them. So you can see my boys are really good spellers, and so they can spend maybe 1 day or 2 with this, and they know how to spell the words. And you know, the test is if they know how to spell the words when just writing a regular paper. And so if I ask them, they don't often ask me how to spell these words. They're really high retention in terms of spelling. Another thing that they do, which I wish we watched the video for this purpose alone, but we don't, there's poetry. And so them hearing the teacher in the class say the poems together, it creates a certain amount of rhythm that the boys really picked up on when we used to watch it in the beginning months, but it just made school drag out really long. And so, like I said, these are the books that we don't watch. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that correctly. These 3 books, the spelling, the history, and the science books, we do not watch with the videos any longer since we're nearing the end of school. But in the beginning, we watched them all. And just to give you an idea, if you watch them all from the beginning to end, that could possibly be a 6-hour day. So though the curriculum was new to us and we had no idea how the homeschooling process worked, the boys did not enjoy having that long of a school day. So the way to cut down the time was to do these things together with each other and maybe with my other children. Handbook for readers, I think this is the first one, but it's the same thing, is where they practice those blends that they've learned through Abeka. And so this is the same book that they use for first grade, for second grade, and even for third grade. This is a book that when my kids went to Christian school, they used this book as well. So you can see that in SHIP, and they'll practice that in FIT, and they practice these things every single day whenever there's a part of their reading guide that they practice these sounds along with that. So again, these are things that we do together. We don't necessarily do them. Okay. That's not ours, honey. Is that ours?
Yeah.
There's one of these that's not ours. Okay.
The dog.
So these are all of the readers that come with Abeka Academy. So here are all the readers. Now, back to another thing we don't do with the video. In the video, you'll see the children are reading these books, and they'll start reading, and they put them in different levels. And so there's 3 different levels. My boys kind of tested somewhere in the middle of there, depending on the story. But these books go right along with the handbook for readers. And so if they're working on a certain sound in here, then that week in school, the story's sound will coincide with that, which is really good. So we read The Story Tree, Hidden Treasure, and we didn't read Paths of Gold, did we?
I know.
No, we didn't. We only read the Treasure Chest, and we read No Longer a Nobody. We read No Longer a Nobody, and that's it. The boys really did not.
This one. Yeah, this one.
They really didn't enjoy the ones that were up to come, and so they stopped reading them. And we started to go to the library and check out books that, I tried to, as best as I could, to follow whatever they were learning and reading, to go over the same thing.
I read Wiki Ricotta.
Yes, he likes to read Wiki Ricotta. But you can see some of them are pretty thick, and we haven't gotten to these, and we probably won't. I don't want reading to be a hassle for them, and so a lot of the treasure chest ones, or that were like historical fiction stories, they didn't enjoy. And so I don't feel like it was a waste, but I do feel like there are about 4 books that we didn't even get to use because they preferred reading something that was more enjoyable. So I tried to find books that were enjoyable, and have the same amount of special sounds that they were learning, or phonetic sounds that they were learning, so that something would coincide, because they're really good readers. But I like that Abeka is very, I don't know the word, but there's a continuity between all the subjects that we just kind of lost that in the reading department because they thought it was boring. Even though they only had to read 1 story a day, they didn't enjoy the stories. And so sometimes when I was doing the comprehension aspect, they were comprehending, but they didn't really want to answer the questions that I was asking, and I didn't appreciate that. Anyway, the things that we do, like Bible, are letters and sounds and language. We do both of those. So here, give you an idea. So this is empty, and we use the back of the book. I used to make some copies, and that got too tiring. So anyway, here's some of what they did in the very beginning, kind of reviewing first grade actually. And right now you can see where they are. They are toward nearing the end, but here's some of the exercises that they will do with letters and sounds. On this page, I used a marker over here instead of use a Sharpie actually that bled through, so that'll give you an idea of what the reading level is like. And we don't have much left in this book, but they're working on their special sounds, as you'll see, and they kind of go over a special sound a day, or a new one, maybe 3 to 4 new ones a week, and then they'll have a test over those. And it's really simple. It's really, it does what we asked, what I expected. And then there is the language book that goes over, they're now really nearing the end of the year of writing stories, and not just sentences. So my first graders are writing sentences, and my second graders are writing stories about whatever they read about in that chapter. So this week in language is this story that they haven't had it yet. And you know, it's about Rahab. So all the stories are biblical and they have a biblical worldview, which is the main reason that we ordered it. But what I do love is the rigor. I mean, sometimes around lesson, I don't know, 90, 100, I thought, when are they gonna like stop reciting a sentence begins with a capital letter and usually ends with a period? Like, I just kept wondering when they were gonna utilize the information, but they went over it for weeks, and I felt like weeks, and they didn't necessarily use it. Well, now they're using it all the time, and so there is a rhyme or reason, and I like the succession. I don't know if that's the word. I like the way that it progresses. Even though I thought it was a little slower than what I would have expected, there was a rhyme or reason because they had to put certain things in order to get those things to happen. And so I really like where they are. They do integrate the calendar and that type of thing as they go along. But I want to get a quick look at, this is nearing the end, so it's a lot of blank spaces when in the beginning, all of his are torn out, but in the beginning, you know, it was a large build-up before they got there. And we watch these faithfully with the video because I like the way that she teaches the special sounds. Another one that I am kind of changing my tune on. At first I was like, oh my gosh. Another one that we were, that I didn't watch, that we do watch faithfully with the video is the math. Because again, math is not my strong or weak subject in terms of second grade, but in life, math was not my favorite. In the beginning, it was a lot of reviewing the facts. So they really kind of drill and drill and drill and drill the facts. There's even an arithmetic section, which is usually 20 to 30 minutes long, depending on the day. And then there's an arithmetic combination section that just goes over facts and facts and facts. So in the beginning, it was just kind of the single digit ones, like 1 plus 1, 5 plus, you know, all the way, I would say ones, or zeros all the way to nines. And then somewhere mid-year when we got to the tens, and now we're on like, I don't know, 15 or 16s in learning the addition families and the subtraction families, then they started adding multiple digits. So some of the problems that they have right now are like 5 plus 7 plus 6, but they, as soon as she's done saying it, they should already have the answer. And so one of my twins, he's right here, really benefit from that. He's really, he's really, really good at his arithmetic, what are they called, combinations. My other one is just, he just doesn't enjoy it. He's good at it, but he doesn't enjoy it. He doesn't like to do it. And this one kind of tries to motivate him in doing that because he's really good with the combinations and he likes to play all the math games, and math is his thing. He's really good at math. My other son is...
What is this?
This is the teacher key that you're not supposed to have.
wait, we got
These are the answers. Yes, we did.
No, I did not use them.
Okay, let me finish, honey. Another thing that, I know something. Another thing, I don't want the video to get any longer. So we watched those two faithfully, the phonics and language and arithmetic with the video. Here's his twins. Come on over since you just want to be in the video.
Yeah, he doesn't really like math that much.
This is the other one who language and spelling and reading is his thing. So you usually make a YouTube video.
What is mine? Is mine math?
Math and spelling
and writing.
You don't really love the writing. Can you go?
Cookie, milk.
Okay, I don't think the viewers want to watch you put on some chapstick.
Okay, that's just like it.
I'm sorry. And then the last thing is their handwriting. So what I'm going to say about Abeka is that originally I ordered the handwriting with phonics too. So this is, I like, again, there's just this huge cohesiveness. And so I made copies of these because I didn't want to order 2 of these. And so this is what it looks like, if you can see, towards, so that's like lesson 70. But like if you take a look at, I don't know where the beginning lessons are. Maybe we ripped them out. I didn't think that we had. Oh, see, in the very beginning, it's just alphabets. And this is every level, like kinder and first grade, and this is second grade, are doing alphabets still in the beginning of the year, kind of just reiterating the things that they'd already learned from the previous years if you had used Abeka. And then, you know, about lesson 33, sorry, is what this looks like. And then I showed you lesson 70, where the progression is very small. But one thing I like about the way she teaches it, if you have the videos, she teaches them stroke by stroke and what should be at the beginning, or what should be at the baseline, the midline, the top line, and they use, like, I think a house as an analogy. We don't watch the videos anymore because my boys are, I wish I had some samples, they are very good at their cursive. And they started out having no experience at all with cursive. Even my first grader, she writes just as well as my second graders in cursive. it's really good. I would say, like, I dread having to watch those videos for hours on end in the very beginning of school, but the cursive was definitely worth it because the way she teaches them to go to the upstairs and the downstairs, upstairs meaning you're doing like a capital letter, and downstairs meant that you were doing like a Y or a letter that went below the baseline. They really understood and they got that, and my penmanship is not amazing. So their penmanship is amazing. They don't quite do it on that slant that they're going for, but I'm probably going to use this one again next year just to reiterate. They are really good in cursive. Can you go? Do you have any cursive? Let me look for some cursive. Our graded work on this.
I think we have a little more.
Like, check out my first. Okay, I know this is like I'm a sidebar, but look at my first grader's work. It's still going, honey. This is what my first grader's cursive looks like, and she's 6. And that's actually not Dylan's. This is what Dylan's cursive looks like. And so they're copying scripture some days, and some days they're copying stories about animals. And like, look at my, I mean, I know this is not what I'm doing, but look at my first grader's phonics test. Like, her handwriting in the beginning of the year was like chunky. Anyway, sorry about that. But I mean, this might not be impressive to you guys, but I might be easily impressed because it's my children. But I mean, just look at Dylan's handwriting. I mean, in the beginning of the year, he was just writing large, chunky manuscript. Anyway. So, in summary, I would say that Abeka Academy has been a success. So, with that, I think some of the pros are that it's a 5-day a week if you're into a 5-day week. It does a brilliant job of mapping it out for you 5 days in a row. Another one of the pros is that it is comprehensive and it's cohesive, and so it is a spiraling method in the math. However, it goes into enough depth that the kids aren't getting lost when they move from concept to concept. You have smaller kids. So my kids are 9, 7, and 6, and sometimes my 4th grader needs a little bit of extra help because his work is a little bit more challenging, and then I can have Addison and Dawson watching their 1st grade videos, and then I have Dean and Dylan watching their 2nd grade videos, and then I'm free of my time. Now I'm only free for about 40 minutes, so 20 minutes at a time. But that's just enough time to help Dave with what he needs. And having 5 children to school, and I don't do them all together, which we probably will next year, but I don't this year, it did free up a little bit of time to spend individually with either one of them who needed some help outside of the videos. The cons, so there are a few cons. The videos are like seriously long if you watch from beginning to end. Although you have a chance to make them individualized for your student. So if you have boys who are, their attention spans aren't as long as you would like, you may totally break those up into one video here. Let's do the workbook, and then do another video, and then do the workbook, which is what we did in the beginning. However, that still prolongs your day. So what we like to do, and if you are looking for a way to condense that time, is we watch Bible, and then we have a little break because their Bible is really awesome too. I didn't talk a lot about Bible, but it's mostly memorizing scriptures and learning about the Bible stories. And because they have a certain rhythm to the memorization, it's really an excellent program, but just hands off, very hands off. They like it better when we do it together, but I love the way that they learn their memorization scriptures. Anyway, I digress. If you do Bible, and then we take a break, and then we watch phonics and language and math back to back, and so that's about 40 minutes, and then we take a break and have lunch. Then they just do the workbook works that follows, and then they do their handwriting worksheet, and then they take a break, and then they read at any time. We read afternoon sometimes we read at dinner time, sometimes we read at bedtime. You don't have to do it in the middle of the day. We do all of the core things in the center of the day because that's what worked for us, and so that means we're only spending about an hour and a half watching videos, and then about an hour and a half completing the worksheets, and then there's breaks in between, and then there's time for questions, and there's a little bit of time for fun. So there is a way to individualize that if you would like. Another one of the things that some may see as a negative, but I mean, it just depends on what your budget is. It's a little expensive. The program I think was $750. Might have been right at $800 with shipping and all that, and I'm not sure, shipping may have been free, but some see that as, a con because it's almost $800 and I had to do that times 3. However, I paid exactly what I paid for all 3 curricula for 1 month of private school, so for us it really was affordable, considering what we came from. But that's that could be a con for some. Another thing is that some see as a negative is that it's a boxed curriculum. I didn't have any experience with homeschooling, so I didn't know how the homeschool community feels about a boxed curriculum and not individualizing each subject per child, per their learning style, per all these things. And so having that green naivete, I just went with what I heard of before. And so if you don't want a boxed curriculum, maybe it's not for you, but if you want something that's easy and open up the box and you spend some time learning it, and it can be invaluable to your child's education. I mean, they've learned more this year than they've learned in the entire couple of years that they spent in private school. And no knock on them, it's just that I'm able to watch what they do and pause the video if they need help and take my time getting through the curriculum if I need to. So we started on the 1st of October and we're a little behind because on some weeks it was tough and we just took a break a day or two and had to revisit some of those things or go over other things that we were doing. And so in short, even though this video has turned out to be longer than what I expected, I loved Abeka for my second graders. I would do it again if I had to. I actually think that I am going to do it for my first graders that will be second graders next year. But I may move on to the logic of English for the second graders because third grade, it's just that the words they're kind of mastering them a little too quickly. And I know that the rigor moves a little bit higher in the spelling category for third grade, but I also love the fourth grade curriculum for logic of English. So I think we may move on to that, and I'm even thinking about doing Right Start Math because this one needs some mental math help. And stop it. And I hear that Right Start Math is really good for that, and it has a lot of games. And so
I'm in third grade.
Yes, you are almost in third grade. And so anyway, if you like the video, please thumbs up, please subscribe, and also comment of what you have experienced with your curriculum, any suggestions that you might have of schooling a family of 5 little ones that are all around the same age. I am interested in hearing your feedback. I also would love some information, stop it, on Sunlight. I'm interested in getting a little bit more literature focused because they did not enjoy Abeka's literature. I want to get something more in depth that they can really sink themselves into. Even though I loved it, I just, half of the curriculum are those readers, and since we only got through half of them, I think we need to get some more interesting ones for them. Thanks for watching our channel.
I'm in third grade.
Dylan is in third grade. Want everyone to know he successfully completed second grade with